My name is Margin Wall, and I live here in Portland, Oregon, and have been helping my sister a little bit, Hope Wall, with a project that she started as a Peace Corps volunteer in Guyana. She lived in a remote Amerindian village with the Arawak Indians, and she noticed when she first got there that there were a huge number of children with cleft palates and cleft lips. I think it arises kind of three ways. First, it's probably a genetic predisposition of some of the indigenous peoples. It's also compounded by a lack of folic acid in their diet because nobody has really any access to medical care. And then there's probably some effect from inbreeding. And Hope had noticed in her village that there were a number of kids with cleft palates. And she thought that that was something, given that she had a medical background, she really wanted to see if she could do something about. So she got in contact with the Sisters of Mercy, who run one of the major hospitals in the capital city of Guyana, which is Georgetown. And together they started a project called the Wishbone Project, which provides free surgical repair of cleft palates and cleft lips to any disadvantaged children in Guyana. Otherwise, they go through life with no medical attention whatsoever, and frequently they don't even live to adulthood. This started in about the year 2004, and they have done to date over 40 surgeries. One of the ways that I thought I could help my sister with this is we have a lot of artists who live in our neighborhood, and we transformed our office into a gallery over the first weekend in December and had a studio sale with 40% of all the proceeds going directly to the Wishbone Project. And we raised enough money for 7 kids to have surgery, which for those 7 kids will be an absolutely life-transforming event. And feel pretty excited about that and hope to do it again next year. And I visited my sister in Guyana when she was in the Peace Corps and was in her village, and I saw some of the kids after they had had these surgeries, and it's amazing. I'd seen the before pictures. Their defects were that profound, and now they look like normal kids. I mean, one boy who was about 18 when he had his surgery, he's engaged now, and you know, I don't think he probably ever even had a date before in his life, or other kids who had never basically been out of their family's home. They go to school now, learning how to read. Or the program also deals with some other facial birth defects, such as large benign cysts. And I met this one girl who'd had a huge cyst on her forehead, and nobody had ever seen her smile. And I met her after her surgery, and she came down on the dock so that we could take a picture of her, and she was just beaming. And when you see that kind of transformation in people's lives, it really makes you feel like, wow, you may not have solved the world's problems, but you've done something that hugely affected somebody to better their lives. Funding for this project has come from a number of places. I mean, the Sisters of Mercy are excellent in knowing how to make pennies, nickels, and a few dollars go absolutely as far as they can. They managed to do these surgeries for about $500 a piece. They provide a free medical bed in the Mercy Hospital, and basically the money just goes straight to the surgeon and the anesthesiologist. And some local businesses in Guyana have been very supportive of the program. There have been some fundraisers in the U.S. Smile Train has made a grant of $5,000 to the organization. But the Wishbone Project has a tough time getting grants from larger organizations because they are such a small project. There are only 4 operating rooms in the whole of Georgetown, Guyana, and I think that they might have 1 or 2 anesthesiologists. So, for example, an organization like Operation Smile The Wishbone Project can't meet its criteria to get help because they would bring in a number of surgeons, anesthesiologists, and try and do, for example, 100 surgeries in 2 weeks. And that's beyond the capacity of Georgetown, Guyana, all the hospitals together to do that kind of number of surgeries. So it's also a little tough for them to raise money from large international organizations because they're small enough that it's they're too small to kind of monitor. It takes a lot of effort for organizations to monitor how their grants are being used, and you're probably not talking about enough dollars to really make it worthwhile for big organizations to invest in this particular program. But whatever dollars they do get from whatever organizations, they manage to make them go as far as possible.
And if medical professionals want to get involved, what kind of medical professionals do you need right now?
Well, actually, in Guyana, they don't have any help with orthodonture at all. So a lot of these kids, I mean, they have some real tooth defects too, but they just get their cleft palates and cleft lips repaired, and there's no help right now with repair of any of the orthodonture. They also have no speech or physical therapy whatsoever. That kind of assistance would be absolutely invaluable. Anybody who's interested in helping in any way could get in contact with Sister Sheila Walsh, who is the Sister of Mercy, who runs Mercy Hospital there. There are a few clinics in the major towns, but especially for the indigenous peoples. They live in the interior where your only access is by boat and frequently by dugout canoe. And there are no clinics and there is no health care whatsoever. I was there actually this spring as my sister finished up her Peace Corps service. So her primary task was healthcare education, AIDS prevention, those kind of things, you know, health, nutrition. But you're encouraged to have a lot of secondary projects. And for example, another project she did in her village is she helped them start a library for themselves, which all of the men got together and built the library. And then she managed through a wonderful outfit called Book Aid in Darien, Connecticut. They got something like 60 cartons of books of all kinds. And for most of the children in her village, they'd never really been around books before. And the primary school teacher said you could see immediately in the kids' writing more imagination. I mean, Dr. Seuss was incredibly popular. Another project she worked on is she helped some of the men in her village start a woodworking cooperative and help them start to market some of what they make in Georgetown. Furniture, especially outdoor furniture, cabinets, things of that nature. And so it's really, you know, the proof of a successful project is how well does it go on once you're gone. And I mean, the library that there is really thriving, and the same with the woodworking project. She extended on a little bit, not with the Peace Corps, but with the Sisters of Mercy at Mercy Hospital, in order to expand on the Wishbone Project and to take it nationwide, because originally it just started helping children in her region, and now they've taken it nationwide.